Viserys Targaryen here, and I just wanted you to know, Christmas is coming.
So that's going to move us to the Vale plot and the Harry the Heir Littlefinger idea. And I'm kind of glad that I'm getting to a lot of stuff that is very related to A Feast for Crows, because I just got done finishing it, and I've been doing actually a lot of work on that. So when we get back to our normal videos, I actually have a lot of Feast for Crows content that I want to do. I got to finish up the retrospective, and then I'm going to do a final conclusion, and I got some also some other stuff, like I ranked all of the chapters and ranking the POVs and all that. But I'm excited to do that. But this is very relevant because it's Sansa's last chapter within A Feast for Crows. So we're given this idea that Harry the Heir is the next one to come to power in the Vale once Robin Arryn dies. And so he kind of tells Sansa, this is your fate. You're going to marry Harry the Heir if you can seduce him and all that. And then because of this, you'll then be revealed. You'll have a claim to the north, to the Riverlands, even to the Vale. It's not really talked about as much, but Sansa is a cousin to Robin, so there is that as well. And then Harry the Heir, again, being the person that all the Vale would like, and he would be in control of the Vale. So you would have a claim reasonably to 3 of the kingdoms right away with this wedding. And my biggest problem is, one, Littlefinger never tells us what he's trying to do. He never says. It just doesn't happen. In this story, our characters that are plotters do not tell their plots usually. And when they do, it usually goes wrong. Notably, you look at Ariane's plot in Feast for Crows, but still. So when we get into this idea, and my biggest issue, I have 2. So the first one I talked about already is, again, the idea of George telling us exactly what's going to happen with the Vale plot. Doesn't make any sense. Probably won't happen that way. Something else is going to happen. The other part of this is, if Harry the Heir and Sansa wed and they rule the Vale, Littlefinger loses all power. And I can't sit here and think that Littlefinger doesn't realize that. Now, is he overconfident in his control over Sansa? That maybe because of what he's been doing with Sansa, that he can control her enough to where he's still kind of ruling? But why do that when you have Robin, who's already in power? And because Robin's in power, Littlefinger is in control. So to me, I look at that and I go, why would Littlefinger give up his power for Sansa? And then you also factor in a third thing. So this is a third thing. Littlefinger has an attraction and wants to, it seems like, marry Sansa. So why then would he give up Sansa to Harry the Heir? A lot of things just don't really add up to me on Littlefinger's plan with Sansa. It's too much of a fairy tale ending where, oh yeah, everything's going to go great, Sansa. I'm going to give you all the kingdoms. And, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys have something else that you think maybe would add to that idea? Do you think maybe some of the information I'm, sourcing is not great? Well, what do you guys think? I'm curious to think what you guys think about the Vale plotline right now. Because I do not accept that what Littlefinger told Sansa is actually his true intentions. I think more of his true intentions are he wants to rule the Vale, or if he can't rule the Vale, he wants to rule with Sansa. Because I think Littlefinger could make the claim just as easily that he should rule the Vale with Sansa because Sansa has a claim. And especially if Sansa is someone that is beloved by these people, and again, all that. I think, again, Littlefinger's power needs to be more by him than driven off of Sansa. I think that makes more sense to me. That's another point. So Ashley brings up a point where Harry will suffer an accident after their marriage. I really like that idea. Because what could happen here is, okay, well, if Harry is dead, who now becomes the heir? Who rules, right? And if Sansa is now revealed at this wedding and all the people of the Vale know who she is, okay, well, would they still back her? And I would tend to believe that they would. I think the Vale would still rally behind Sansa even after that wedding. So I think that's a great idea. And I think that's a way that you could go forward with Sansa having more power. I like that idea. I agree, Anna. So one thing I noted when I look at Sansa's chapters in Feast for Crows specifically, they feel a lot like King's Landing. They feel like a lot of politics. They feel like a lot of scheming, how to gain control of the Vale. That's one thing I really like about Sansa's chapters and Feast specifically. Do you think he's more focused on ruling or getting vengeance for Catelyn? I personally don't think actually Littlefinger cares that much about getting vengeance on the Freys or the Boltons for Catelyn. I don't think he cares as much. I think Littlefinger like kind of gave up on Catelyn. I think he's going after Sansa now. I think that's the way he sees it. Like Sansa's basically Catelyn but younger, and it seems like more like beautiful. So I think that's the way Littlefinger sees it. So I think Littlefinger would be more focused on ruling, gaining power, and elevating his own self-position. I have a feeling, or some Metal Maz says, I have a feeling somehow Sweet Robin is going to cock block Sansa and Harry the Heir. That's possible, but here's the thing, right? If he starts being a little bit too annoying, Sweet Robin's going to get pushed down the stairs. Let's say that in this scenario, let's go off of Ashley's idea, because I really like Ashley's idea of what could happen here. So let's say Harry the Heir dies into their marriage. Let's say the Vale, I would say because of some of them being bought off by Littlefinger, and some of them, you know, feeling like we need to be honorable, we need to support Sansa, I think a lot of the Vale, not all of them, I think, you know, majority of the Vale would be behind Sansa after this marriage and of her being revealed to Harry the Heir. Again, there would be those doubters. There would be those people that said, oh, Littlefinger probably killed Harry the Heir. He died very young. It's very suspicious. Still. But I think this is how the Vale gets in the main story. Because whatever outcome has to happen in the Vale, they have to become part of the story. You can't have them be an isolated little island in the rest of the story. They need to get, again, all of our characters need to get together. But I think Sansa comes into the story a little bit after we see the events in the Riverlands. Like, once we see the Riverlands kind of stabilize a little bit, I think we see the Vale forces come down. I think we see the Riverlands, like, meet up. And then you have the North retreating from the others' attack, all kind of meeting towards this, like, middle end part of Winds of Winter. Littlefinger is the ultimate example of forget her and work on yourself, bro. That's true. That's true. Littlefinger literally was simping over Catelyn for, like, years, okay? Years. Now, to be fair, Catelyn was leading him on, okay? Let's be straight up, okay? And then you watch the girl that you're in love with, and she's just, like, with another dude, and she's just like, dude, this guy's bigger than you, he's more handsome than you, and he's gonna just wreck your shit. And he does. But Mar brings up a great point. What if Sansa ends up with young Griff? I think that's a possibility. Right? I don't know how high of a possibility, because I think timing is going to be something really difficult to kind of figure out in this next book when it comes to young Griff specifically. But if this was to happen, why would this make sense? Well, Littlefinger would go from, you know, having maybe the Vale, maybe the Riverlands. He puts Sansa to be married with the king. If the king was to die, Littlefinger's in a nice, good spot here. Very good spot. And so, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think an idea of Sansa ending up with young Griff. Now, I don't think the problem I would have with that is, like, how would that relate to, like, the Stark side of her blood? Like, how would that relate to that part of her character arc? And maybe it's just not a big part of it because she is the least Stark. I don't know.